Dear viewer, I have a question for you. Are you a boy or a girl? Hello and welcome, my tree leaves with a professor's degree. Yeah, today we are talking about Pokemon professors and specifically their names. Or what these names mean in the language of plants. So let's dive into it and start with the oak himself, Professor Oak. So, what does the oak stand for? Some of my sources state that it does stand for hospitality and ancient wisdom. This definitely fits Oak very well. I mean, he lets you inside his lab, even gives you a Pokémon, and then he uses a lot of hospitality on your mom. How can you be more hospital than that? And so yeah, there's some drilling going on. Damn it. What the oak also stands for, and that is the most interesting part here, is strength. Now, does seem Professor Oak strong to you? Well, he supposedly was a trainer you could battle back in the day. They cut that battle out, sure, but the lore about him still stands that at one time he apparently was a Pokemon champ, or at least close to it, so he is a pretty capable and strong trainer. So strength fits it well. Also, he has the strength to tell you that you cannot use your bike indoors even if he's not there. Guy's a psychic. Then we have Professor Elm. And the elm tree stands for dignity. I like Professor Elm, but he doesn't even have the dignity to introduce his own game. Professor Oak does that for him. So, I don't know, does that fit? He is pretty young and still learning, so you could say him not giving up and being eager to learn is some kind of dignity. Also, in Celtic mythology, it does stand for the underworld. And well, at first I thought, yeah, okay, what does he have to do with the underworld? But then if you think about it, Generation 2, where he was introduced, was also the introduction to the dark type. Maybe you can see a connection there. I don't know. Choose for yourself. Now, the birch tree is a bit of a weirdo. It does stand for elegance, not fitting the professor at all. Like, he stumbles, loses his bag, his Pokemon, and then almost gets killed by a Poochyena. So, yeah. It also stands for meekness, self-sacrifice, graciousness. I mean, he is thankful for you rescuing him by giving you a Pokemon, but I don't know if I would call that graciousness, like, specifically, but, well. And devotion? I mean, unlike your father, he at least has devotion to his family by not moving to a city that you don't live in. What's interesting, though, is there are some more meanings to it. That would be protection. Okay, he needs protection rather than giving it. But rebirth and new beginnings. Now here we are onto something. Simply because when you think about it, Ruby and Sapphire back in the day, Generation 3, completely cut off the first two generations. Due to the systems not being able to communicate with each other, they kinda had to do that, and so it basically was a new beginning for Pokemon. Also, given that Gold and Silver were supposed to be the final Pokemon games, but no, they did continue with Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, I mean. And thus, yeah, it's a new beginning in a way. So, given that meaning, Birch's name actually pretty much fits him, I would say. Good job, Birch. You're still my least liked professor of them all. Now for Professor Rowan, also known as the Mountain Ash Tree. I struggled a bit to find something, but what I found works. It's known as the Tree of Life, and given that he is the oldest Pokemon professor we have, at least as far as I know, you could say he's old like a tree, so he had a long life. That's a bit of a stretch, and he's not a rubber tree. So yeah, it also stands for healing, empowerment, strength again. Okay, you could find stuff. But also ambition. And I have a feeling that Generation 4 was kinda ambitious. It was the first time they stepped into 3D. Not like with the whole camera, you still moved around with sprites and everything, but the buildings were made in 3D. So they definitely took a step forward with them. And I don't know, the whole game feels like it's bigger, more ambitious. Not as ambitious as the most ambitious RPG in the world, Raid Shadow Legends. No, this is not an ad. Fuck that game. Yeah. I guess that's the best I can get out of that. Ambition. Tell me if you can feel that too. I don't know. For some reason, it does feel the most ambitious to me. It was very ambitious that they decided to not put any fire types in it as well. Juniper, now, that really was hard. So, yeah, it does again stand for protection. I guess in a way all professors are about protecting the young by giving them Pokemon before sending them out into the dangerous wildlife. It's also aid, asylum, succor, which is a word I didn't even know. It means assistance and support in times of hardship and distress, which, yeah, I guess that kinda fits it, because she does help you out with figuring out how to awaken Reshiram or Zekrom. Kinda. She is, at that point, the most included in the story Pokemon professor, I would say. Rowan was there a bit more as well, but like Oak, Elm, and Birch, they were just the Pokemon givers in the end, and well, that's it. Nothing really perfectly fitting her though. I don't know. Elsa apparently stands for loveliness. Okay, she's a girl, the first girl in the professors. Which, like, girls are lovely is a bit weak of an argument. Yeah. I have nothing more to add here. I am pretty sure they did not consider the meaning of the trees when giving the professors the names, but oh well, it's still fun. Entering X and Y Gen 6 with Professor Sycamore. And the Sycamore stands for once for curiosity, which probably every Pokemon professor has, so yeah. But also for growth and persistence. And that fits his topic of research, the Mega Evolution, so well. Because the Mega Evolution is one step of growth beyond your final growth. And the persistence part is, well, Mega Evolution actually hurts your Pokemon extremely, so don't do it. But if you do it, they persistently go through this pain to be stronger. Mega Evolution is just sad, and no, if you ask me, I don't care that much if it returns. It's my least liked of the gimmicks, so yeah, whatever. We'll see what it comes out of it in ZA later this year, so yeah. Moving on. Now Kukui, also known as the Candlenut Tree. That's a fun one. It's a symbol of enlightenment, okay, protection again, and peace. Well, he lives in a kinda peaceful area, I guess. But the Candlenut Tree in Hawaiian mythology is considered to be the body of, what's the name again? Kamapua, the Hogman demigod of fertility. Fertility. Who is the Pokemon professor? We definitely know who had SEX. Well, Professor Oak because of his nephew, then also Professor Birch because he has a son/daughter. But we witnessed Kukui becoming a father. We witnessed that. We witnessed him hooking up with this girl and being about fertility stuff. You know? Like, right? It's the best I could find. Now, the first of the two professors of the Gala region is Professor Magnolia. She does retire at the end, sure, but she is really a good pick. This might actually be such an intentional pick on the game's side. Like how every Pokemon is British. Check out Loxton and Noggin for a video about that. He did great work there. The Magnolia does stand for perseverance. Okay. Love of nature. Well, with the wild zone, nature is abundant in Gala, I would say. But, most important, nobility. Nobility. In the region that's about kings and nobles and stuff like that. Like England, which is still a monarchy. Nobility. This was made for her. Yeah, this is the most fitting name yet. And let's see if we can actually top that with her. How were they related? I forgot. Sonia. Sonia is based on the Santa Sonia, and oh my, I am so sure that they picked these 3 flowers. For some reason they suddenly switched to flowers instead of trees. Oh well. But I'm sure they picked it in Gen 8 specifically for the characters, because the Santa Sonia stands for energy, enthusiasm, and optimism. That is the description of her personality. Straight out just her personality. She is very optimistic, so energetic as well, like more than all of the other professors. And she has such an enthusiasm going on, never giving up and everything. Yes! This is Sonia personified as a flower. Shouldn't the flower be personified as a person? Oh well. Professor Laventon is sadly again a case that's not that clear. He is based on the lavender, and given how Gen 8 fits so perfectly with the characters, lavender for Laventon, I don't know. It stands for love, devotion, loyalty, but also distrust and overcoming of distrust. You could see a theme there for the game, I guess, because at one point you are painted as the bad guy, but you know. But also for confession. I don't know, you're not like confessing anything big in that game. I don't know, the best I could get was the overcoming of distrust, which is kind of in the game, but kind of not. It's not like they are distrusting you completely, it's just they are kind of careful, and I don't know. It's a very, very, well, low thing to go by here. Yeah. I mean, maybe you can find something in these words that I don't see, so yeah, tell me in the comments. And then for Gen 9 we have Professor Sada and Professor Turo, which are not based on trees, but their names basically meaning past and future. So They are very on the nose there, and of course there's no flower language meaning to these words, so I guess this video is over now, so leave a like, subscribe, share the video with everyone, and we'll see each other in the next one. So until then, bye-bye, and I will now play a tree.